In human design, there is an entire body of language about the so-called global cycles, which are essentially the program of consciousness. Our consciousness is literally programmed by the frequency of these cycles, determining what the world and we ourselves will be like. Every 411 years, a cycle shifts, or as it is called in human design, an incarnation cross changes. Currently, our world is on the brink of transitioning from one such cycle, the cross of planning, which has set the big ground frequency programming our consciousness since 1615, to the cross of sleeping phoenix, which will begin on February 15, 2027. All the changes in the world and in human nature that we observe and are part of are manifestations of this transition from one frequency to another. The frequency of the cross of the sleeping phoenix is radically different from the era in which we, our parents, and our great parents were born and lived. We exist within this program, and it is nearly impossible to us to step outside it and imagine and feel the world differently. The program determines the conditions that literally shape our consciousness and being and are perceived by us as so self-evident that they are hard to even notice or be aware of. For example, we have a pre-ontological assumption that everything in the world grows, or at least should grow. And if it doesn't grow, that's a problem and something needs to be done. If you look closely, you'll see that the concept of growth is embedded in everything, from how our economy is structured to how we believe a person's life should unfold. Everything should grow. But what if I told you that growth as such is just one component of the background frequency of the last 400 years brought by the cross of planning? That our civilization was programmed to grow, and that this is not our accomplishment, but a global program. Human beings are vain in their belief that they control everything. We modern people are egocentric, convinced that everything in the world happens for us, because of us, or thanks to us. But close observations of the program, the global program, suggest this is just our illusion. While we are within the frequency of the cross of planning, we cannot imagine a world not driven by constant growth. But now this theme is gradually leaving the program. It is weakening and being replaced by another. This will radically change the world and ourselves. Human design is a unique practical tool for self-knowledge, explaining the mechanics of each individual. But in human design, there is also incredible information about the mechanics of global cycles. And by understanding this, you can see how the entire world is structured, what laws govern it. It's like being able to peek beyond our material world and see the gears of this giant mechanism. Human design shows how our evolutionary development is programmed. We can look at how it has played out in the past, and we can also look at the future. To do this, we need to study the mechanics of the global cycles. There are 8 key themes that guide the development of our consciousness. They correspond to the 8 gates of the G center. For example, gate 25 determines the path of our development. Gate 2 defines the plan by which everything will unfold. Gate 10 programs the nature of individual behavior. And gate 15 the nature of collective behavior. Gate 7 is responsible for the leading forces that guide us in this journey, while gate 46 programs what is sacred to us. Gate 13 defines what we will witness along the way. And finally, Gate 1 defines what we will look up to as an example of how we can manifest ourselves. So these 8 themes create a framework for each era. Every 400-year era programs us according to these 8 directions. This is what in human design we call the locks. And if there are locks, there should be the keys, right? And there are 8 keys, which change every 411 years. The keys set for the background frequency of each cycle, fully determining the quality and characteristics of our evolutionary path, plan, human nature, how we will express ourselves individually and collectively, what we will strive for, what we will rely on, what we will worship, what we will witness, and what will lead us. These keys correspond to some of the 64 gates in human design. For example, the plan of the cross of planning was opened by the key of gate 42, the gate of growth and increase. Think of what this means. This means that the plan for humanity's development since 1615 was the growth of everything. The subheading of this gate says the expansion of resources, maximizing the development of full potential. So the fact that our civilization has developed and grown to incredible sizes over these 400 years is not our achievement. As I said, people are vain. We attribute all the credit to ourselves, but this is just the global program. Have you noticed how in recent years the idea of growth has become increasingly questionable? You could even say that over the last couple of decades, we have reached such a variety in everything that this excessive expansion seems to be leading us to decline. And what if I told you that since 1955, the program has been operating under the first line of Gate 42, which is called diversification, and its description includes these words: growth through expansion. Too much expansion can lead to decadence. So when the dot-com bubble burst in March 2000, we could have said everything is going according to the plan. And when the real estate bubble burst in the USA in 2008, that was also according to the plan. Remember, excessive expansion leads to decline and decadence. And when now, any day, we expect a crash in the stock markets, where companies' shares are overvalued thousands of times, I understand that this is what should happen according to the plan of our era, the cross of planning, because the frequency of gate 42, which represents the energy for growth, is weakening now. And the closer we get to 2027, the less of it there will be. We can confidently say that right now, the era of growth in our civilization is ending. It's almost over. 10 years ago, everyone was worried about overpopulation. Scientists scared us with the rapid growth of the population, and China, for example, even limited births. And what is happening now? Those same demographers are telling us about a catastrophic decline in birth rates and predicting the collapse of economies, not due to wars or economic crisis, but simply because in 10, 20 years, there will be no one left to work and support the levels and volumes we have achieved. Growth is over. That was the plan for the cross of planning, and the plan for the cross of sleeping phoenix will be from a completely different realm. The key to the lock called the plan in the era of the cross of the sleeping phoenix will be gate 51, the gate of initiation and shock. The description of this gate says the ability to respond to disorder and shock through recognition and adaptation. Can you feel the difference? We had the expansion of resources maximizing the development of full potential. And from 2027, we have the plan shock, the ability to respond to disorder and shock through recognition of this shock and adaptation to it. And the closer we get to 2027, the more disorder and shock there will be in the world. So when people ask when this will all end, I say in 2438, because this is when the cross of the sleeping phoenix will end. Well, so if you analyze all 8 keys of the cross of planning, as I just did with gate 42, with the plan of the era, and compare them with the 8 keys of the cross of the sleeping phoenix, you can form a very clear picture of what the world we are moving into and what it will be like after 2027. Let me say right away that it will be a completely different world, a completely different background frequency. And Raoul Hu, the founder of human design, explicitly stated that this information was given so that we could prepare ourselves and then prepare others. Knowing your design and aligning with it becomes critically important for survival in this era. We have only 2.5 years left until the shift of the crosses. I have recorded a seminar called Change of Global Cycles 2027. It is available on my website. There is a link in the description to this video. In the course of this seminar, I thoroughly analyzed the mechanics of the cycles, all 8 keys and all 8 locks. I compare the frequency we are very familiar with, I mean the frequency of the cross of planning, with the frequency that is coming. Understanding of the locks and keys will give you a very broad perspective on what is happening with the world and with us right now, because the changes are happening not only and not so much externally, but within us. You will understand the trends, where everything is going, and you will understand the deep reasons behind many processes, because they are merely symptoms of what is happening at the frequency level. This knowledge will give you understanding and perspective, and for some it may even break dangerous illusions. We are living in truly great times. The mutation that is happening now is much deeper than we imagine. And what we are witnessing now is only the beginning. We are at the beginning of the collapse of the old world. Therefore, a greater perspective is necessary. This information may not be for everyone. There will be no guide to action at the seminar. The essence of human design is that everyone follows their inner authority in making decisions, and the next 400 years are precisely about that. The background frequency will no longer support external authorities. The external pillars of the cross of planning are collapsing right now. So if you're looking for simple answers to complex questions, this seminar might not be for you. But if you are inclined to think deeply, if you are interested in exploring the world and yourself, if you value the bigger picture, I encourage you to buy this seminar. The link for registration and payment is in the description to this video. Well, please subscribe to my channel and share this video. I will appreciate your comments and will be glad to answer your questions. Talk to you soon. Bye.